Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Ask Me Almost Anything, day 15 of our lives. I'm Stacy Casson, also known as the Clarity Concierge. For those of you who can't see me, I'm a very tan woman. I have short, wavy, salt and pepper hair, and I'm going to turn my sound off. Sorry about that. I have a white flower in my hair and clear glasses, and I'm wearing a white shirt, and there is a red background behind me. So, yeah, don't. Whoops, let me turn this off. Sorry, I want to make sure catch the comments. Sorry about that. Okay, because I noticed that I was missing out on the comments, so I wanted to make sure that I caught your LinkedIn comments. And I think everybody needs a husa. I certainly need a husa. So let's go ahead and start off our session by taking a deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. And I did it again. Okay, I'm going to leave that comment alone and just hopefully somebody will tag me in the picture. Okay, and sorry about that. Okay, and exhale. I have not left this one. Okay, I think I have left that one. Just sometimes the LinkedIn comments do not show up. Okay, so we're going to start out with our Pokemon of the day. And we have the Dark Energy Pokemon card. This one has come up quite a bit. It is a navy blue card with a glowing blue sphere, and it has a crescent moon. And so we're thinking about the card of the day or the thought of the day. It's about the systems and underlying situations happening in our life that impact our role, that impact our life, that perhaps we're not aware of. The other thing, when we've brought up this card in the past, is about that self-talk and the stories that you're telling yourself, role that is playing in your life. Also, depending on the environments that you're in, it could be, what are people's agendas? People might have hidden agendas, and if you're not doing that or learning how to read the room, that could be something that you're missing out on. My friend Joe Cardillo, and I don't remember the name of the person he did it with. Give me a second, I'll find it. They had a talk. He did a podcast about reading the room, and it was really interesting. Understanding the situations. This was specifically about interviewing, and I'm trying to find it so I can tell you what I'm talking about. This one was specifically about interviewing and trying to find a new job. So it would be for you understanding those systems and understanding where they're coming from, right? If you're trying to apply for a job, what is that culture of the organization? Amy Santee, that's who it was. Joe Cardillo, or Dillo, I don't know how to pronounce Joe's name. Cardillo, and Amy Santee, Santee. And this was the What is Wrong with Hiring podcast. So they were both talking about reading a room, which is very important to you. And I think that ties in a lot with this idea of understanding what lies beneath those hidden systems, those unspoken rules, and again, a company's culture, or if you're trying to find a new job, their hiring practices. Yesterday, we were talking about relationships. So, again, what are the hidden agendas? My son watching I think it was a TikTok video with me. Someone had sent it to me, and the person was talking about how to be a be a good partner. And my son is like, "You're watching a thing about a pickup artist?" And I said, "I don't think this one is really about being a pickup artist, because the terms were more about mutual respect and things of that nature." And it's like, okay, cool, true, true. That's a possibility. So, I mean, reading the room in a lot of situations is very helpful as you go through your day to day. In my day job, we talked about observing things. I don't want to get into details, but basically it's about observing and being focused, asking questions and being curious. And that would serve you well in your day to day relationships and connections. And even if you're stuck in traffic, instead of getting mad at it, take a scientific approach. Why are we in traffic? What role did I play? Could I have left earlier? Did I notice anything that would have prompted me to take a different route? What resources did I use? Did I consult a map? We have near real time traffic information nowadays before we go out. So there's many, again, systems and, ooh, almost dropped this card, systems and functions out there that impact our life. I'm also excited. I found someone that made a tarot deck based on Pokemon cards. So I'm going to try and figure out how to incorporate that. The problem is with this particular one, for me anyway, because I don't play Pokemon, and what's helpful about the action cards is they tell you what you're looking at, and that gives me a point of reference for some of these. But I'm pretty excited about it. They're really gorgeous, and I think that's a new way to play. Okay, I don't see any questions in the comments yet. I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of water. And this morning I had posted two cards, and it was, who do you want to be today and who do you need to be today? And before I pull some cards, some new cards, because I already put them away and I don't want to show you my phone because that will just be a giant glowing thing. Done, as I mentioned before, a decision mapping session with Michelle Price. It's Michelle, 1L, no hell. And we talked about archetypes. And I explored a little bit further this morning, looking up, because these are based from Carl Jung, and archetypes are kind of like a universal definition. And if I understood Jung correctly, the universal definition from which religious archetypes come from. And sorry, when I was going through that, I found some connections between the traditional tarot world and these archetypes, and also some with the Pokemon. And one that it was such a moment was the Tower card. In some of our other readings, we've pulled the Tower of Darkness, and is in the Pokemon tradition a training card, and you're going through obstacles. But in other traditions, a tower is literal. Everything is falling apart. The world is falling apart. It is a true tower of darkness. And if you even don't want to go into those aspects, there's a Stephen King novel called The Tower. Perhaps if you saw a tower card and you read the Stephen King novel, The Tower, you might, unless it's a dark tower. But anyway, if you read that, that would bring a completely different set of insights that come to play. I was really excited about that. Once I figure out how to random picture generate, we might play with that particular new Pokemon deck. And if you have questions, like I said, please put them in the comments. And I'm trying to check LinkedIn without getting an echo. So if you are on LinkedIn and watching this now, please feel free to put your questions in the comments. This is also on YouTube and on Twitch. So if any of you are joining from there, that'll be great. So when I was thinking about that, a lot of times it's who do you want to be, right? There's an Oingo Boingo song, Who Do You Want to Be Today? I'm picking cards that are people versus who do you need to be? Because this idea of working with the archetypes was about using them as thinking about different perspectives. And it's even asking, like, what would this Pokemon say if it was chiming in? So it's not just what does the Pokemon mean, but what would the Pokemon say? So I pulled two cards, and for who do you want to be today, we have Uxie. Uxie is a psychic type Pokemon card. This is a purple card with mm, it's a creature that kind of has this gold hooded crown on its head with a red ruby in the center, and it has like a double tail with kind of fleur-de-lis endings, and flying through the air. Its eyes are closed, and it is traveling over some mountains, and it looks pretty calm. It has a relatively calm expression on its face, and that's definitely who I'd like to be today. And that its emergence gave humans the intelligence to improve their quality of life. Who wouldn't want to be the wise sage? And in some ways, maybe this card could be similar to the Hermit card, because Uxie by itself, but pretty happy, or something else. But I just get a sense of wisdom and freedom from this card, which is absolutely who I want to be today. But who do I need to be today? And Morlo, Morlo is a grass energy Pokemon card. So this card is tied into nature and natural things. It looks like if a marshmallow and a fungus had a baby. So it's like a glowing white marshmallow, kind of fungusy head things, and it has black eyes, and then these kind of purple and pink colorful mushroom caps on top, and it's surrounded by little glowing lights. And I get the sense of being planted deep in the earth and spores, spreading some out there. And I was part of a training class today. So that kind of makes sense. It's illumination, it's bringing up things for other people. This one nourishes itself by sucking from tree roots and wakens at night. So it is a owl kind of thing. And to do a later night event, training event, that is kind of later for me. So who did I want to be? I wanted to be free and floating, la 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 la. But who did I need to be today was more low, was more of something to help other people grasp concepts. And that is tied into hosting this live tonight as well. So again, if you are new to this process, I am the Clarity Concierge, and tonight you can ask me almost anything. And I accidentally joined another live. Sorry about that. And I did it again. Okay, there we go. We're safe. Technology is dangerous. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. I call it Ask Me Almost Anything because even though I'm using intuitive tools, I am not a fortune teller. I'm somebody that holds space and asks questions in a fun way to kind of bypass the guard gate of your subconscious. So to help you come up. Wow, why does this keep happening? Sorry. I closed it out. Okay, my phone is haunted. My phone is haunted, but that's okay. And hopefully I'm not rejoining that again. Okay, cool. Here we go. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat. The LinkedIn comments are not coming up, so I want to be sure that I'm not missing anything. And until I get questions, we're going to do my favorite thing if I don't know what to ask, and that is to just pull random cards in the T-Grow coaching model. And T-Grow is start with a topic. So we're talking, and I'm trying to piece these all together. We're talking about the systems that maybe we don't see working, whether it be the head talks, whether it be the associations that people have with others, protocol, and things like that. And add into just a sense of deep insight and floating out there, and also something more organic and the heart. Sorry, the purple, Morlal had purple and pink pellets. So I'm thinking about healing, attaching to a higher self. And with the Elite Synergy Pokemon, it is about doing something organic. So when we think of a topic, we get the Steel Energy Pokemon card. This card has come up quite a bit, and it is a silver card with a glowing silver sphere. It has an inverted black triangle that has brackets. And I think steel kind of just depends on your mood as far as how you want to associate or attach the steel. So let's think of Uxie card. What would Uxie think that this steel Pokemon is about? And Uxie might say it's about flow, because steel is a good conductor. It's about flowing and withstanding the storms. Steel is also flexible, so it can withstand specifically sandstorms. I guess steel is pretty good in sandy situations. Versus that's the person I want to be. I want to go with the flow. But what does the person that I need to be today, Morlal, maybe have to say about that? And this because we have a grass energy Pokemon and something that wants to be free and expand. So there's still that kind of flow or spread because it's spores, it's shooting out spores, but perhaps that energy should be containerized, and think about where do you want to expend your energy. So it really kind of depends on what's happening in your life or circumstances, but those are two ways that you can think about it. And I also kind of get this feel of a hazardous waste, even though it's not a hazardous waste symbol, but the brackets around the triangle give me a sense of feeling. So, okay, cool. We have a general idea that may or may not be tied into other things. So then what do we want to do with that? And we have the water energy card. This is a blue card. It has a blue glowing sphere with a black water droplet. And if we're thinking about what's a potential goal, where we have Uxie and these hidden systems, and also trying to spread, grow, perhaps impart some wisdom, then with the water energy card, I'm getting a sense of going beneath the surface, going deeper into whether it be knowledge, whether it be the flow state, maybe deeper into meditation. How do you even connect to that flow state? And I must admit, it's been a little bit since I've just sat still and listened. I tried to do some before this, and it's like, oh, you haven't scheduled your next live yet. All the dates are there, but I didn't actually schedule it. So all these thoughts through my mind. And when I reflect back on the Steel Pokemon card, again, this is just for me, I get a sense of stop. Just stop and pause. The water energy Pokemon card is relatively still and quiet. The water droplet is suspended. So perhaps I need to consider like suspending time and give myself a break, which I did, by the way. So tomorrow's live, I'm not doing 6 a.m., I'm going to do 7 a.m. to give myself a little chance to recover. This has been a brutal undertaking, but really a lot of fun. I don't regret doing this ambitious thing of doing a live every day, but it has definitely been juggling schedules. So then we think about what's realistic happening, and I get another water energy Pokemon card. And the immediate thought that comes to mind is drowning, is maybe taking on more than I can chew. Like, if I've learned nothing else from this month of lives, it is that challenging and brutal. I thought an hour a day would be doable. And it has been doable, but it is definitely not as easy as I thought it would be, even trying to optimize the schedule. That's why the times are different every day. I'm trying to make sure I have enough of a buffer to arrive on time to these lives, and also to be prepared and not rush into anything. So when I look at the water Pokemon card again, it almost feels like this is potentially drowning. So what can I do to contain my energy? Maybe not spread the spores so far when we're talking about Morlull. And Morlull is also active at night. And maybe I need to like roll that back a little bit, but you can reflect on what comes to mind for you in that particular situation. And you might have a different understanding or interpretation. Drink some water. And how I work, I prefer to have conversations with people. Again, I'm not a fortune teller. I am someone that's really good at holding space to put you in a judgment free zone. Think of Holmes and Watson. You are the Sherlock, you are the genius, and I'm just somebody that holds space and asks questions that you can spark those aha moments. And so then, what are some opportunities that can help in this situation? And we get Mitzi's determination again, Misty's determination. And this is a trainer Pokemon card. Misty is standing with her arms akimbo. Looks like she has on like a gold bikini top and crazy red spiky hair side ponytail against a blue background. And so, since the card before was water and this idea of rest, I'm feeling that Mitzi is cheering me on to get that rest. And when you pull this card, you can discard a card. This for me is like a reminder to take something off my plate, which I actually did. I changed the time for tomorrow because I don't have to get up as early because someone else is handling something for me. I didn't even have to delegate that. And then what is the next step forward? What is my way forward in this quest to take a pause? Oh my gosh, another water energy Pokemon card. I think I'm going to interpret this one as just the epitome of being still. The blue color also reminds me of the chakra system. I am not a practicing person in that, but I think it's something that's interesting if you're in that please talk to somebody that is their actual tradition. I'm going to use this as free association. So this is generally associated with the throat and speaking up, speaking truth to power. So when I look at that, it is probably saying no to things, turning down some invitations. No, I don't have to fit 24 hours into 8 hours tomorrow, or however, sorry, whew, however many hours I have with my guests that are tomorrow. So lots of water energy cards. And that's the other fun thing that I like about Pokemon is that you have, because there's so many cards, you have the option of pulling the same one. But I mean, you could accomplish the same thing if you just buy multiple decks of something. You can get a similar effect, or maybe find areas of emphasis as you go through those days. Okay. I don't see any questions yet in the chat. So we'll do another one that I like. And let's try and define this problem. I am trying to do, I mean, this is a problem that comes to mind because we're tying into getting missed. And what is happening? So we have Talo. Talo looks like a sparrow. It has that forked tail. It's flying in the air over what looks like maybe an island, like a volcanic island. As you see a mountain there, and it's called a reckless charge. So here I am soaring away. Maybe you all get a different sense when you look at Talo, and you can pull up most of these on the internet if you just type in their name. It could be like a swallow. Um, so I'm trying to soar high and spread my wings a little bit, and that's all well and good. But what is the challenge with that? Because it's important to define the problem that you're trying to solve. I'm trying to churn up these Pokemon cards until I feel like, yeah, this is the one. Okay, we get the Psychic Energy Pokemon card. It is a deep purple card with a purple glowing sphere and an eyeball. Again, I said I'm not a fortune teller, so I look at this card as listening to your intuition. Your intuition is shortcuts that you develop through years or months, just doing something for a long time, observing things for a long time. You get hunches. Like if you've met somebody and you're like, something just sit right with me about them, and you don't know why, and sometimes you go against your better judgment, and then you're like, aha, that's why. Or when something says stay in this lane, but that lane looks faster, and you change lanes, and then all of a sudden there's a massive slowdown and you're in, and if you'd stayed in the other lane, you'd still be flowing. The idea of purple for me is also about connecting to something higher than myself. So when thinking about why do I want to stop and slow down, it's because I think that would help me process what is actually happening. Perhaps it would give me the time to review what I've done so far and find areas of opportunity. And any questions that I really, really liked, those would be good that I can write them out and share, right? There's a lot of different things that pausing and slowing down would help me to bring other ideas to mind. It could also just be literally, if I pause, then I would get some rest. That sometimes, what is it, Occam's razor, the simplest thing is the right thing, or fits. You can look that up as well, because I'm not Google. Okay, so I've been maybe flying a little too high to the sun. I get this idea of Talo and the ancient myth of Icarus flying close to the sun and melting all my feathers. I'm gonna plummet to the ground. But I'm getting warnings right about that. So help in that situation. And we have Fomantis. I think Fomantis is a spider actually. So this is a green spider Pokemon type. It has red eyes and I guess red mandibles. Is on the forest floor. It's a grass energy Pokemon type. And its special skill is synthesis. So it is bringing different parts together. And it also does photosynthesis. They give off a sweet and refreshing cutie fly often gather near tall grass where Fomantis is hiding. Okay, that's kind of cool. But the takeaway for this for me is Fomantis is in a quiet space. This is nighttime. So I'm getting a sense of maybe taking a little time for myself and breathing. uh, when I read about a sweet, refreshing scent, maybe put on a simmer pot tomorrow. I definitely like simmer pots. They make the house smell good. I usually do some lemon peels, and it just gives a sense of refreshing and renewing and starting over again. So that seems like a good idea and something helpful. Also, the grass energy Pokemon literally get out in nature. And the green color for me is about your heart, is about self love, self care, but also the love and how we want to deal with other people. I had a reflect. I'm smiling because I had a reflection today where my morning thought was about, do I want to be someone that wins at all costs? And I was keeping that in the back of my head that I don't need to be right 24/7 or all the time. And in this training I was doing, somebody asked a question and I didn't agree with it. And I thought I answered it in a way, I know I answered it in a way that was helpful, that gave person perspective, but it didn't dunk on their ideas or make them feel bad for that. Because, questions are, we welcome questions. That's how we learn. And I think questions help to bring us out of our complacency. When somebody asks a question, even if the answer is obvious, quote, quote, pause and think about, well, maybe how did they get to that point? Why did they think of that question? And what are the gaps in knowledge? Perhaps they are looking for a simpler solution because something else might be a skill set they don't have yet. But again, what are the resources would be there to help in that situation? And yeah, so I didn't win at all costs, which is nice. Back to our other situation here. What would what would I do differently, or what would maybe harm in the situation? So we figured out what would help, but what might not be helping. And here we get the fire energy Pokemon card. It is a orange card with an orange sphere and a black fire. And I normally associate this with creativity and passion and things like that, but I'm going to take this one literally with burnout and this idea that doing more and continuing to light the fire would not help me in this situation. This idea of pushing through probably would not help me in this situation. When we're thinking about synthesis and green and organic things, a burn would clear everything out. And that's not what I want to accomplish in this particular situation. So, continuing forward, what is one small step that I can do to help me rest, aside from going to bed right after this. Oh my goodness, there is the Pokemon Rescue Stretcher. That's hilarious. This is a trainer card. So yeah, I just go out, rest. I don't think that can be any clearer to do this. So I already have tomorrow's session set up. I don't need to do any more than that tonight. Tomorrow is ready, and I'll have more time in the morning for the remaining sessions for the year after resting. Okay. I don't see any other questions in the chat. And I'm going to give myself permission with this live because I did my live. I live every day for 15 days now. I'm going to give myself the grace of the rescue stretcher, and we're going to end this one. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning. Have a lovely evening. Be well.